For more reaction on President Ramaphosa's address, we're joined now by Kganki Matabane, who is CEO of Black Business Council. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Is this good news, do you believe, Mr. Matabane, particularly for business in South Africa to start trying to reinvigorate itself again?
Thank you very much for having us. Good evening. The developments are welcomed, but we were basically expecting a total lifting of the regulations, but we were also cognizant of the fact that when we had regulations like this, and you basically reopen the economy fully, there may be a surge because people may just be careless, and we have a surge where we may have to be forced to close the country, which we cannot afford at all. So we welcome this, especially from a small business point of view. We are of the view that the reopening of the stadiums in particular will assist small businesses, because there are a lot of traders who are dependent on these events. They're able to make a living. Also, we welcome the further easing of restrictions on travel and tourism, because a lot of small businesses also depend on the foreign tourists who are coming to the country, especially in the places like the Kruger National Park and so on. So we think this is a step in the right direction, and we really are hopeful that by the end of April we will have all these restrictions lifted and replaced by the health regulations.
But this is also keeping in mind, Mr. Matabane, the fact that there has been talk, in fact, there is indeed planning for a fifth wave. So do you have fears that that might undo some of the gains that we're hoping to gain from these relaxed restrictions?
Yes, I think that's what probably the president was trying to balance, rather than reopening fully the economy and removing all the restrictions. He probably was thinking, we may go to the fifth wave, which unfortunately the economy cannot afford. Otherwise, the economy is going to collapse. If we have to go to level 4, level 5, we can't afford that. And remember, the small businesses, growth of the small businesses and recovery of small businesses at the center of the economic recovery of the country. The National Development Plan has indicated that 90% of the jobs that should be created in South Africa will come from small business. So it's important that we put all our efforts in ensuring that small businesses are fully open without any disturbance. And hence we are supporting this move by the president, but we are saying, let us ensure that the health regulations are speeded up so that by the end of next month, the economy is fully reopened.
There's reopening the economy, but there's also the stark reality of the growing number, in fact, the alarming number of unemployment, particularly the youth, 70% and over, which we believe, and a large part of this account for the informal sector. There have been many calls by observers to say government really needs to up the ante when it comes to stimulus packages. I know there's been an announcement of a loan scheme of sorts for businesses in distress for COVID-19, but it's also about creating an enabling environment, particularly for the informal sector, which you mentioned that there's a great deal of dependence on. So as Black Business Council, what are you saying to government? What are you saying to communities in doing that, leveraging this greater freedom that we're going to be enjoying now?
Yeah, firstly, we're encouraging people to continue to vaccinate, and we also hoping that these gatherings will also be used to further vaccinate people. There should be, for example, if you go into a stadium, there should be a place where you go and vaccinate or get tested, and that will ensure that as many people as possible are vaccinated, because there's been proven all over the world that vaccination works. As far as the stimulus is concerned, we've already met with the National Treasury to try and understand how are these loan schemes going to work, because the previous one, as you know, it has not worked because of the way it was designed. So we're still working on the details of how this is going to be designed, but we're further looking forward to the one that is going to be launched next month, that deals with the with almost like a capital investment, because our observation has basically showed that people are not looking for loans or pure loans. They are looking for a bit of a loan, but a loan that is more relaxed, where you can maybe only start paying after 12 months. But people are looking for grants, because remember, people have not been trading. For example, if someone has been running a tour guide in the Kruger National Park, they haven't been trading, so they won't even qualify for a loan in a bank. So there's no need to bring more loans into the system. What is needed is some capital injection into the company, so that the person can at least have some operating income to cover operating costs and restart the business. So that's basically what we are saying to the National Treasury, that let's speed up the capital injection one, because that is what is needed. And we have to focus fully on small businesses, almost the same energy that we used when COVID hit. We should use it to stimulate small businesses so that we can recover the economy.
And as you say, that what the support or relief measures that government had implemented before certainly didn't find much joy from the businesses that we've spoken to. But this new scheme, it says, for instance, in terms of the eligibility criteria, that includes a requirement for collateral, that's been loosened, that also the total support package will go through the bounce back scheme for 20 billion rand. So how is it going to help, should I say, the economy as a whole recover, just in your mind? I mean, I do find it intriguing that government has decided to continue along this route, work through participating banks and development finance institutions, as you say, that quite a lot, especially if you look at the majority of our people who are trying to create employment opportunities, they're not eligible for this.
Yes, hence we are saying the one that is actually needed is the capital injection one, because that one will ensure that there's money coming to the business, but that money is not necessarily going to be repaid in the next 12 months, because if it's a capital injection, is shareholding, and that is what people need. And then also the other thing that we always wanted was that the DFIs should also be included. Also, what we call non-banking
development finance
non-banking SME funders, because those on a daily basis, their job is to ensure that they get funding for small businesses. So they understand the small business sector much better than the big banks. The big banks, the criteria when you go to the bank is collateral, 2 years, financial statements, and business plan, and all those type of things. You are not going to get that from someone who's selling amagunya at the stadium. So the criteria itself is an exclusion. Hence, we say if it's a grant, that might be easier, because you may not necessarily need a lot of things, because the money is not expected to be repaid. But the issue of small business, it has been proven all over the world that if you want to reduce the high unemployment that we have, the record-breaking unemployment that we have, of young people, you are not going to get those numbers from big businesses. You need to get them from small businesses, because once a small business gets given additional responsibilities, they've got no choice. They've got no capacity. They've got no choice but to empower more people and employ more people.
Indeed.
So that's the way we can reduce this unemployment that we have and grow the economy.
Thank you so much for your time. Much appreciated. Kganki Matabane is the CEO of the Black Business Council.